Hey everyone, this is Caitlin. So I just wanted to show you guys how to use Kahoot in your classroom. This app isn't content specific, which is pretty cool because that means that any of you can use it. Obviously you can make it content specific based on the types of questions and stuff that you use, but it's not specific to anyone in particular. So first I'm going to show you kind of how everything works. So this is basically the main screen where you would create your Kahoot. These are the different options. So you can do a quiz, a discussion, a jumble, or a survey. The quiz is basically just a quiz. You create questions and then pick the answers, and then you let the kids answer the questions through their app or device. And then the discussion board is similar to a discussion board in Canvas, where you type or compose a question and they answer it and sort of get into a good discussion about that specific topic. Jumble is kind of weird. It's basically where you could create a question and then you have to put the answers in there kind of broken up, and they have to put them in order based on what they think the correct answer is. And then the survey is pretty cool. You can just put whatever kinds of questions in there that you want. I think it would be a good way to kind of do an informal assessment at the beginning of a new semester to kind of see where students stand on particular things, like for an English class, it could be grammar. In a math class, it could be, do they know how to solve an equation? Things like that you could easily use that for to kind of see where you're at and where you need to start your lessons, rather than having them do like a written test. So I'll show you first how to do a quiz. It's pretty easy. So you just click on quiz and it'll bring up this next page here where you'll create the title and all that stuff. So I'm just going to do test game just because this is the test. And then I'm just going to do technology assessment here. And then you have to pick an audience. So I'm just going to do school since it's for school. You can also choose to add an image. You can choose to insert a video at the beginning if you're teaching a new lesson or something like that. They can see the video first to kind of see how to go about doing it and then answer the questions based on the video, or you can really do it however you want. But I'm not going to do any of that. It just takes too much time. So I'm going to hit OK, go. And then I'm going to add the questions. So the first question I'm going to be is, who is the author of Romeo and Juliet? You can choose to award points for these, which I think is pretty cool. That way, if you choose to use it as a form of assessment, you can use this as points in your grade book. So it's a good way to also encourage kids to participate in it, and so that you can have another thing to add to your grade book to give them more points. So I'm going to put Shakespeare as the first answer. And then I'm just going to put Spenser as the second answer. So we all know that it's Shakespeare, so I'm just going to click that and click next. You can add pictures if you want, so you could put a picture of William Shakespeare. Well, actually, that would give away the answer, so don't do that. But you could put in a picture of maybe the cover of Romeo and Juliet or an adaptation of it or something like that. That way the kids can have some type of visual. Then you just hit click next and it brings you to the next page, and then you can choose to add in another question if you choose to do so. I'm not going to do so just for the sake of time. But you can add in as many questions as you want, and you can choose your audience. So if you don't want everyone to see it, you don't have to. You can just choose for yourself to view it, and you can change that at a later time. So this is what it kind of looks like with just one question in there. And then you'll just hit save. And you can choose to edit it, preview it, play it, or share it. I'm just going to hit play it so you can see how it works and how it looks. So it's going to bring up the Kahoot and say that it's loading. And then you'll have your students open the Kahoot app on their particular device. So in my case, I'm going to use my iPhone. And I just downloaded the Kahoot app. And then what you do is you can choose if you want them to use their own device or if you want them to work as a team. So this could also be cool for collaboration. If you're talking about something that's more complex and you want them to work together, then they definitely can do that. You can also change all these settings as well, which is pretty cool. It's just your own personal preference. I'm not going to change any of that though. I'm just going to do classic just because it's easier, to see with just one person. And then I have my app up on my phone. So I'm going to enter in this code. Okay, and then on my phone, there's a screen that says Kahoot. You enter in your code, hit enter, and then it brings it up. And then you have to enter in a nickname. So you can have the students do their first and last name or whatever. Just make sure you know who is who if you're going to use this for grading. So I entered my nickname, and then I hit OK, go. And then it shows up on here that I'm in. And the teacher will be able to see who's in and who's not in based on this and how many players there are. So that's pretty cool too. So now that I'm in, I can hit start. And it's going to bring up the question. So, who is the author of Romeo and Juliet? And this is the only question, so it's going to go pretty fast. So I get to pick who I want to pick. On my phone, it just shows the red or the blue. And so you would have this screen up on your computer for your students to see. Do they want it to be Shakespeare or do they want it to be Spenser? And then they pick on their phone or their device which color or shape belongs with that answer, and that's what they'll choose. So on my phone, I'm going to choose the red triangle, because obviously I know that it's Shakespeare and that's the answer. And then it'll show you the results at the end. So it'll show you how many people got it correct and how many people got it incorrect. And then you can hit next, and it'll bring you to the end page, which will show you the results of who got first place and and so on, to see how your students did on this quiz overall. So then you can just hit get results, and it'll kind of list everyone based on their points and how many points that they got for this specific quiz. And then actually on the app, which you can't see, it also does like a survey, and you can choose to rate this Kahoot and would you recommend it, blah, blah, like all the apps do. So, and then you can choose to save the results, which obviously if you're grading, I would suggest doing, just because then you'll have it saved somewhere so you don't lose track of it. Or you can just hit new game, and it'll take you back to the home screen where you can create a new game, which is also pretty cool. So I can bring up a survey here, which I made earlier. And I'm just going to click on view all my results since I already made a quiz earlier. And this was in the technology assessment, so I'm just going to hit play again. And this will bring up a survey that I just created strictly for this video. So again, it says it's loading, and I'll bring up the Kahoot app on my phone again. And, so I'm just waiting for my phone to load so I can put this in here. Okay, so I'm going to hit classic, and I'm ready to join, so I'm just waiting for this, and I'm in here again. So I'm going to I'm waiting. Let's see. Okay, so I'm putting in the pin on my phone again, 542 5415, and I'm going to hit enter again. And there's my nickname on screen again. And here we go. So this is just a two-question survey. How often do you read outside of school? And you get to pick on the next screen which answer. So if you want to pick every day, once a week, never, when you have free time, on the app on my phone, I just pick which color or shape coincides with my answer that I'm going to choose. So for me, I'm going to pick every day, just because. And so there you go. So there it shows the answer, and it also shows the answer for a previous attempt when I did it earlier. So that shows the first question. And then you can hit next. And this one is, how important do you think it is to integrate language arts across the curriculum? And then again, you get to pick your answer. So I'm going to put extremely important on my phone just because it's extremely important to me. And there we go. That answer is saved as well, and it'll show the results for that question. And then the survey is over. And again, you can save the results, choose to play again. However you want to do it. And then, you can just go back to the home screen to create a new game. And then there are several options that you can do. So it's pretty cool. I think that this app in particular is awesome because, kids get really tired of taking tests or quizzes, on bubble paper where they have to bubble in A through C or A through D or whatever. It doesn't matter. It can become very tedious for them. So it would be hard, I think, in like a math class to have them, put an equation in there and solve the equation, because that takes a little bit more time. But you can increase the time limit on the questions. So if it's like a warm up or something like that just requires them to think on their toes and quickly, then you could definitely use it for that. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, you could pretty much use it in any subject area to judge how kids are doing on that particular subject. It's just a good way to assess your students in a way that's going to keep them engaged and active in the conversation. Because when they have the app open on their phone, they're not able to do anything else. So if you have the quiz up on the screen and they're supposed to be taking the quiz and they're supposed to be using their phone or whatever device, in order to answer the question, they have to have the app open on their phone. So that means that you're almost going to guarantee that in most cases, the students are going to have it open and are going to be focusing on the quiz versus, typically when they have their phones out, it's for things that are not productive or that have to do with school. So it's kind of a good way to make sure that they're staying on task, even though they're using technology, because, sometimes technology can be extremely distracting and all of that. So, yeah, I think it's a really awesome way to incorporate technology in the classroom and also give students a way to connect with the learning in a different way that's going to keep them engaged and keep them focused and not make them bored out of their minds, because it's really hard to keep kids engaged as it is. So, yeah, I hope you guys like it, and hopefully you can find a way to integrate it into your own classrooms. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I've kind of done a lot with it, so I can answer any questions that you might have. Thank you so much.